Mic check 1 2. What it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today we're talking about Devin Haney and Regis Prograis and their championship fight at 140 pounds coming up in December and the press conference that just went down. Before we get into the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know what you think about this content that we're dropping on y'all. All right, so let's get right into it. Press conference, kickoff press conference. There'll be another right before the fight, but this was just the introduction to the fighters, first face-to-face to get an opportunity to talk. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. That press conference was trash, and here's why. Usually when a press conference goes, you have the two participants, the fighters, the combatants, and then you'll have their head trainer or somebody in the camp that kind of has some notoriety. But think about it this way. You have a camp like Jermell Charlo. He's got a known assistant trainer in Juwan Guzman, but he's got a head trainer in Derek James. You think about Gervonta Tank Davis. Many credit Coach Kenny Ellis with the strategic measures that go on with Gervonta Davis. And then Coach Calvin is more of the father figure, motivational. He's been there with him forever, and he's the lead. But everybody knows that they both are kind of like 1A and 1B. But when it comes to the press conference, you don't see Coach Kenny up there. You see Calvin. So relative to this particular moment, you had the strength and conditioning coach for Regis Prograis, and then you had Bill Haney, lead trainer and father of Devin Haney, undisputed 135-pound champion. Well, they try and take a belt from him and all that stupid shit. But anyway, you have that situation going on. And the strength and conditioning coach, I didn't catch his name. I'm going to look it up later, but not really that important to this particular point I'm trying to make. Actually, it's very important because nobody knew who this dude was outside of the Regis Prograis camp. And he's on the stage, on the mic, and he's hogging a lot of time. I mean, I think there was like a 3-minute stretch in the press conference to where he talked, and it was just a matter of watching Regis' face respond to what was being said. And then you had Bill Haney going back and forth with the gentleman from Regis camp. And it felt like a put on. And I'm thinking maybe Regis' actual trainer just isn't a great mouthpiece as far as, trash talking. So they brought in the guy who's probably the one in the gym talking the most shit. So from that perspective, maybe it makes sense. But to be honest, it just took away from the fact that you have two exceptional fighters getting the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with a championship on the line. We complain about not getting championship fights. And when we get the opportunity to see one with two high-level fighters, the press conference to kick it off is marred by unnecessary trash talk. I don't really want to address this too much, but I want to bring it up because it was stated. But Regis, prior to, he did some interviews leading up because he got to get that press run going. But he talked about Devin Haney basically not getting it out the mud. And, Bill Haney's a little bit older than me or whatever. And our goal coming up was to do what we had to do to make sure our kids didn't have to do it that way. Now, I think Devin Haney's a tough fighter. I think anybody that gets in that ring is a tough fighter. Some are tougher than others, but you can't question that man's toughness, and he's an undisputed champion. You can't question his pedigree when he's been in the gym with Floyd Mayweather and been tutored by the Mayweather family. He's been in the ring with some dogs. JoJo, outside of whatever bullshit he's done outside the ring, JoJo Diaz is a good fighter. Linares is a good fighter. Hell, let's talk about it. He went to Australia twice and beat Kambosos up in his own backyard and swept him basically. And then you look at, his last fight with Lomachenko. You can't really question what Devin Haney has done in boxing, regardless of what his actual background is. Then they brought up a loss that supposedly was paid off. It matters, but it don't, because it happened so early in his career. If that's the truth, he's already grown past that. This man has become undisputed. I don't think that would have stopped him. In fact, if you think about his marketability, whatever his record is, if he's undisputed, that's the biggest thing on there. His actual win-loss record, because he's not a KO artist, he's not a flashy fighter. None of that really matters. And then Regis kind of backpedaled off it. And that was kind of like the first thing he started to say, like he understood something that many of us recognize in boxing. Don't discredit your opponent, because it makes the win sweeter when you give them credit. If you say, hey man, that's a tough guy over there and I'm taking it very serious and I'm going to give my all to beat him, it doesn't make you look weak because you credit him, because when you do beat him, everybody understands you took on a challenge. And I think Regis understood that. He stated it. Devin Haney on the flip side kind of was like, you ain't nothing basically. kind of discrediting Regis, and I thought that was a bad move. But Bill tried to clean it up. Who's the better mouthpiece in the combo, father son combo? He's a better talker, and he recognized what his son was saying and tried to like, hey, walk some of that back. But at the end of the day, the tooth was already out of the toothpaste container. So, I don't know, man. It just felt like an unnecessary press conference. Like they didn't do anything to move the needle for me. It's not going to make me want to see the fight more. I already want to see it. But if I was somebody who didn't follow boxing, that wouldn't have turned me on. In fact, it would have turned me off. Like, what is this foolishness that's going on my screen? I'm going to go do something else on that day on December 9th or whatever it is. So hopefully when they finally get face-to-face after training camp, they'll have kind of narrowed down and focused in on just talking about being ready and prepared and respecting each other as combatants. And we're going to get a damn good fight. And seeing them physically, Devin looks like he's going to fill out nicely at 140 and eventually end up at 47 like I predicted, where it's going to be his natural weight, and we might actually see some power when he gets there. But at 40, I don't see it. I think Regis is going to knock him around a little bit, but I think we're going to see a damn good fight, and I hope it's skill versus skill. But let me know what you think about the press conference. Did it seem like a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors, or do you think it's going to be a good fight? This has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.